I had a few people ask me to do more reaction videos because they found the last couple I did were pretty interesting. The one specific that I got was for Zach George. Now understand something, I don't care about Zach George, I can care less about him as a trainer. My main concern is the video, and I'm going to explain to you what Zach is doing from B.F. Skinner's point of view. Now, I've tried to have conversations with Zach, but he tends to shut people down. But Zach does admit in one comment that he made to me that dog training is operant conditioning, which is the quadrants of dog training: positive and negative reinforcement, positive and negative punishment. What he won't admit is that it's trainer's interpretation of what B.F. Skinner was doing. So, and before anybody gets angry for me talking on Zach George, understand something. I've got video, I've got books, I've got everything to back everything up that I say, okay? So let's get into it.
The German Shepherd dog mix came by. My understanding is that she occasionally becomes uncomfortable with people, and she's been known to snap at people. I've asked Danielle to get Delta comfortable with a basket muzzle prior to our meeting.
Okay, so muzzles are automatically punishment. Zach is scared of this dog, and you will see this, and I'll point it out as we go forward. He wants the dog on a muzzle, so he's taking away the dog's ability to defend. So when he goes and starts disrespecting this dog, she can't bite him. She does try at least once in the video, because I went through it quickly, and I'm going to explain it.
These kinds of muzzles
And by the way, this dog is not comfortable in the muzzle. She's trying to pull it off.
are the best for managing a dog who might snap or bite a person or...
Now, understand, he says it's the best to manage a dog that might snap or whatever have you. They're always going on the perspective of maybe it'll happen. And this is where control and management comes in. This is not fair to the dog.
animal, as they allow the dog to pant, take treats, and drink water while keeping everybody safe. It's uncommon for dogs to snap at people without warning and
Now you see right here, and I know he's going to get into this, we're just into the preamble here, but he's petting the dog on the top of the head. Now, number one, a lot of dogs will take that as a dominance move. They don't like it. Monty is the most chill dog in the world, my own dog, but if I move to pet him on the head, he will cower down. He will lower his head. He doesn't like it. Number two, he's got this dog on a muzzle. The dog is not sure about him, and he's disrespecting this dog. Right now, he's being a negative reinforcement to this dog. The dog's positive reinforcement, as you're going to see, is the removal of negative reinforcement, so she goes after him.
seemingly unprovoked. You can see here I'm cautiously petting Delta as I'm aware of her issue.
You can see her body language. She's ready to snap.
Has she ever bitten a person or snapped at a person?
She's snapped before,
Okay.
but she's never been.
Yeah,
As
there
I'm
it
looking
is.
at-
You see, if the muzzle hadn't been on, she would have bit him. And Zach knows this. This is the reason why he wants the dog on a muzzle. Right now, I watch balanced trainers going to war with dogs. Right now, Zach is doing the going to war with this dog. Zach is a negative reinforcement to this dog. The dog is a negative reinforcement to Zach because Zach is scared of the dog. So right now, you've got two negative reinforcements coming together. Who's going to win? Because the dog is going to show positive reinforcement. The dog is going to bark, it's going to lunge, it's going to try to bite. That's the dog's positive reinforcement. So Zach's positive reinforcement is to control the dog. Okay, once you understand that, you'll understand what Zach is doing. This is all B.F. Skinner. This is where the confusion comes in.
This again. Perhaps she took exception with being pet on top of her head by
Perhaps she took exception to it. Yeah, you were dominating her.
someone she doesn't know very well. Whenever a dog acts out like this towards other people or other animals, it should be dealt with on a case-by-case basis. Let's find
You see, she's still not culpable. She still doesn't like that muzzle.
out more about Delta from her mom, Danielle.
My name is Danielle, and
And I'll tell you right now, this is not a fear case. This dog is not scared. She's not reactive. She just wants respect and nobody's giving it to her.
this is my dog Delta. So Delta was found on the street. She was about 5 or 6 weeks old. She had really bad worms when we found her, so we nursed her back to health. We've been inseparable ever since. Currently, Delta is 3 years old. Delta can be selective about new people that she meets, and she can be a little reactive. You might notice that Delta is wearing her basket muzzle. I like to make sure Delta has good associations with wearing her muzzle because that means that she's safe and we're keeping other people safe.
Yeah, you see, this is the whole perspective. Nobody trusts the dog. Nobody respects the dog. But yet the dog is supposed to fall in line. We've got a German Shepherd here that's bred to run and chase. And I don't care who says what, the dog, no, they don't lose that genetics. Okay? They may not be so potent with the genetics, it's a well-bred dog, but the genetics are still there. These dogs need hard exercise. They need to blow out the frickin' lines. They need a job. They don't need to be in a muzzle being stroked by a trainer.
Zach, please help me get Delta more comfortable around strangers.
Tell me, how does she react at home though normally? What's her behavior like when you have someone come over?
She's generally excited. She likes to bring people things when they come through the door, like a blanket or a toy. She's never had any sort of outburst like that in our home.
Okay, so my best guess there, change
See her ears and her breathing? She's stressed, man. She's really stressed out.
of environment, that can be stressful to some dogs. Like,
You see, number one, the owner shouldn't be there. Okay? Zach should be removing the muzzle and meeting this dog one-on-one, but he will not. Trainers will not, because dog training right now has become a spectator sport. Watch what I can do. Watch what I have to put up with. Watch what I got to go through. This is all wrong, completely wrong. And the dog is going to pay the price in the end.
can be like, why are we here? What is this place? Who is this guy touching my head right now? It's important that whenever we're trying to resolve issues like this, that we really understand the context, because when dogs react unfavorably or react in any way to anything, it's due to their genetics, lifetime experience, and the context.
Genetics. It's always about genetics. I'm going to tell you right now, I've never met a dog yet that was genetically aggressive. Okay? If you don't invest in the dog's genetics, they have a German Shepherd, they need to run, they need a job. If you do not invest in the dog's genetics, if the outcome of that is the aggression or reactivity, don't blame the dog. You put in what you get out what you put in.
In which the incidents occur. Does she like to be pets?
She's not a dog that comes up looking for pets, from me even.
She may get irritable when she gets pet, because until I was petting her, she was fine. Well, we can never claim.
Yeah, until you were petting her, she was fine because you were disrespecting her, Zach. She didn't want you in her space.
To know what's going on inside a dog's mind. Most likely, it's probably some type of fear response. She's unsure.
It's not a fear response. It's not unsure. This dog is not showing any sense of fear. Like many dogs, they demand respect. They want to be respected. Nobody's giving them any respect. You'll never hear Zach George talk about trusting your dog or respecting your dog. Why is that? There's nobody's building a relationship with this dog, and this is what needs to happen.
Asking all of these questions just because every case is so unique and so different.
But yet you still don't understand the underlying cause. This dog is not afraid, but you're saying she's afraid. She's not a fear case. She's not reactive. She's not aggressive. She's not attacking people. She doesn't like people coming into her space, and she will react in kind. This is called a correction. When you disrespect the dog, many dogs will correct that because you're being a bloody negative reinforcement. The positive reinforcement from the dog, again, is to bluff or to charge or bark, whatever have you. This is the dog's positive reinforcement. Positive reinforcement is not something you apply. It's not a tool that you use. It's a desire.
My plan today is to kind of address this in 3 different ways. We're going to talk about desensitizing her so that we can minimize the chance of this happening in the future, as well as how to counter condition her in order to change her reaction. Management is also a huge variable, and it looks like you've got that under control, but we'll talk more about that later.
Yeah, management. It's always about management. And this is the freaking price that dogs pay. It doesn't matter if it's balanced training or positive reinforcement. The dog will face a lifetime of management because nobody is actually sitting back and trying to understand the causes of the behavior. This is the problem. The science of behavior is understanding the freaking causes. That takes questions. That takes discussion. We need to understand, is the dog's needs being met? Is the dog getting enough exercise? Because dogs have mental health too. This is a very simple case. She's not a fear case. She's not an aggression case. She's simply a dog that's looking for respect.
It's my goal throughout this training session not to have another outburst like that. My goal is to keep her under that level of stress to where...
And he keeps going back to this. I love this. This is classic. Negative reinforcement, positive reinforcement. This is B.F. Skinner. Okay? Not what he's telling you. He's trying to apply positive reinforcement. Positive reinforcement is a desire that all animals have.
She's unlikely to react that way again.
She went after him again.
She's leaning on you, very trusting of you. She's just checking everything out. And that bond that you guys have seems...
If the dog trusted the owner, Zach wouldn't be in negative reinforcement.
Really strong, and that's going to be really important when you go to address something like this with her. I love how you're giving her the reassurance as well. That's another big...
I love how you're giving her reassurance. This dog is not in the right state of mind. You could tell right now, her body language, she is not a happy dog, but she's getting rewarded with affection. And Zach is happy with that.
Important part of this, to give her that reassurance, is going to go a long way. One of the best things that we can do to get a dog to react more favorably is to desensitize them. We just want to give her that general experience of being around people. We've had her...
You see the look on that? If that muzzle wasn't there, she probably would have went after him again.
Here, how long now? About 10 minutes or so? Might be a good idea to give her a few more minutes just to interact over here and smell around. The more she experiences being around situations that typically make her uncomfortable, the more likely she is to feel normal in those
I would like to see what Zach's reaction is if the muzzle wasn't on the dog. I would love to see it.
situations. However, if she doesn't have frequent exposure to those situations, then it's going to prove challenging. As we've been sitting here talking, she seems to be adjusting. She feels very comfortable with you.
You see the
So
way
I think
she's breathing? She's stressed out.
we should move on to the
She's
next
not
step,
extremely
which is
stressed out, but she
counterconditioning,
is stressed. She's not
providing
happy in
good
that situation.
outcomes around things that typically cause her to feel a bit uneasy. So I'm going to give her some treats.
Awesome.
Oh, great. You know, food rewards everything. It's like money. You know what? Pass out money all around. Food fixes everything. No, it doesn't.
If we hope to alter her reaction around new people, we have to give her a
You see, right now, the dog is being punished. B.F. Skinner defined punishment as the removal of positive reinforcement. And that's very, very interesting. Because Zach claims to be a force-free, positive reinforcement trainer. But yet, this dog is being punished in every which way.
reason to change that reaction. Play and food
She's
are
not allowed to
great
have positive
places to
reinforcement.
start. I'm going to start off by dropping it because she did snap at me a moment ago. I like to
Yeah, no shit.
think that good dog trainers don't get bit. So
I missed that part of it. Good dog trainers don't get bit. You know what? I've been bitten a few times in my life. I get stupid. I disrespect a dog. They don't have a muzzle on. But when I reach in and I do something stupid, I take a bite for it. And you know what? My bad. It's not the dog's fault.
I'm going to ease her into it. My goal here is to completely reverse the perception that she has
The fact that she's taking food shows me that she's not under the she's not over her own threshold. That's key.
out of me out there. She felt uneasy. That's why she snapped at me. So now if I show her, hey, look.
She never felt uneasy. You were disrespecting her. You were disrespecting her space. You got into her space when she didn't want it.
I give you turkey. That's likely to make her feel a bit better. Look
Oh yeah, great. You give a dog food, it's gonna fix everything, right?
who's on their good behavior now, right? I'm gonna treat her open palm here. So now I'm able to put my hand right at her face there. That's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, that's a great thing to do. Another move of disrespect. That's another negative reinforcement.
And I'm now a little more comfortable to get a little bit lower on the ground with her here. And I'm pretty close to
I'm a little more comfortable getting on the ground with her here. I'm a little more comfortable. That shows right there, if that muzzle wasn't on this dog, all bets are off.
her right now. Because my best guess with her is that when you get in her personal space, she gets a little alarmed. And you might
There you go. When you get in her personal space, she gets a little alarmed. It's called disrespect, Zach.
notice I'm not petting
And here I am cheering the dog on. If that muzzle wasn't on, you'd be getting bitten. And you would deserve it.
her a lot because there's a good chance that that's a trigger to her. I'm giving her really
Yeah, it's a good chance that's a trigger to her. That's exactly what it is. That's the diagnosis right there. Get the hell away from her. She doesn't want you in her
pieces
space.
here, and this is all really good so far. I'm looking at her body language. I mean, her frog legs over here seem to indicate that she's in a relaxed state of mind. I'm not seeing the piloerection. That's where their hair stands up. I'm not seeing her look particularly alert. It's really
Her hair never stood up. Her hackles never went up at all.
important to try and understand a dog's body language, get any clues that you can. Basically, you do counter conditioning exercises like this. Ideally, you get strangers to give her treats or drop treats in front of her. And
You see, trust is the big problem here. She doesn't trust strangers. This is the reason why. Because they disrespect her all the time. When you approach a dog and you show disrespect, especially a scared dog, I mean, this is not even a fear case. This is nothing. But when you approach a scared dog, I go to pet stores and whatnot, and I see people, oh my God, your dog is so cute, and they almost attack it trying to pet it. That is disrespectful to a dog. That is a negative reinforcement to the dog. The dog's positive reinforcement is to correct you. Okay? And because the dog corrects you, it shouldn't be an automatic death sentence for a dog. Or an automatic life of control.
the idea is that over time, if she has enough experiences with strangers dropping treats from the sky around her, that she's more likely to start to associate good things with them.
Oh yeah, great. The problem is here is trust. She doesn't trust strangers because they disrespect her, okay? I can't reiterate that enough. She doesn't trust her owner. She doesn't trust her owner's judgment because trust itself is very, very multifaceted, okay? She needs to, when she learns to trust her owner, and her owner makes the world not a big deal, now you're going to see major changes in the dog. But this dog is going to end up in a lifetime of control. Zach said it already.
Yes, good girl. So now I'm letting her just kind of lick me with no treats. I'm just getting her used to seeing a hand come towards her face. Here, I'm just getting her to interact with my hand in her space. Good job, very good. And she's like, where's the treat? But, you know, the main thing is she's not showing a lot of...
You see, what really upsets me here, when I meet dogs, I walk into the backyard. There's no controls. There's no muzzle. There's no nothing. All I want the dog to do, I'm being respectful when I walk in the backyard. I'm showing full trust and full respect. Okay? All I want the dog to do is to calm down and choose to calmly invade my space. It's not me invading the dog's space. I want the dog to choose to calmly invade my space. Show me the respect that I showed you.
Stress signs
This is
here.
not,
Let me see
right now, this is not respecting the dog's space.
if I can get her to take some general direction from me. I mean, if she'll do some basic tricks for me, that's a surefire sign that she's getting comfortable with me. She knows sit pretty?
Yeah, well, we call it beg.
Oh,
but
look
yeah.
at that.
So take the muzzle off.
What do you call it?
Beg.
Beg. Oh, look at you. That's so great.
So what is it? Every stranger has to go through this with the dog? They got to bribe the dog with food to try to make it nice? What you're doing right now is building a food relationship with the dog. You're putting a piece of freaking food between you and your dog in a relationship. I don't get that. And I watch owners walking around with treat bags under a side, and they don't realize that you're actually punishing the dog in a behavioral state. Okay? You take a dog that's scared, and if you're controlling the dog, you get the dog on a muzzle, you got the dog on a prong or on a leash, whatever have you, the dog is not allowed to do anything. You're taking away the dog's positive reinforcement. Okay? This is called punishment. You are punishing your dog. Now, by feeding treats, you're trying to reward that punishment. And we wonder why it's not working.
Bang.
Good.
Oh, that's really cool. When a dog takes direction from someone they've never met or unfamiliar with, like me, that's a really good sign that they're not in a stressful state of mind. We're making great strides on counter-conditioning Delta to react better towards me. But remember that managing any dog with an issue like this is paramount to their long-term.
Management is paramount, and I can't stand that. I don't want dogs managed. Dogs are fully capable. But this is the end result. I mean, from balance training to positive reinforcement, and a dog facing a lifetime of control and management, there's nothing positive about that. There's nothing positive about that for the owner. But they got to be concerned about their dog, because the trainer's always pushing aggression as intent to harm. It's an aggressive dog. They always have that intent. That's not fair. That's not right.
Success. When you have a dog like this that has had issues with reacting to people in the past, it's important to really manage them, honestly, lifelong. You can make a lot of
Lifelong, yeah. You got to manage them lifelong. They can't be fixed, right? Because Zach, I remember another video that Zach put out talking about aggression. Trainers talk about aggression like a condition that cannot be fixed. Aggression is not a condition that can be fixed. It needs to be understood. It needs to be investigated. What's causing the dog to show aggression? What angers a person? Because you are an animal. Human beings are animals. We have an animal brain. We work the same way. What makes you angry? What pisses you off? What makes you aggressive? What scares you? What makes you reactive? It's no different for the dog. Should I slap an aggression label on a human being because they get angry once in a while? No.
improvement, and perhaps she can get over it completely, but every dog is different. You're doing great on management. You've got her on leash, she's on a harness, you have the basket muzzle on just to keep everybody safe.
It's to keep everybody safe. Yeah, you're taking away the dog's positive reinforcement. You're taking away the dog's ability to defend itself when people are being assholes.
You talked about how when you go on walks, if you see that she's likely to react, you create the distance and everything. These are fantastic ways to manage. For those of you at home who are dealing with this, whether your dog reacts unfavorably with dogs or people or any other animal, it's important to have realistic expectations. This isn't something that you necessarily resolve quickly. Sometimes it can be years, sometimes it can be lifelong. It really just depends on the individual dog.
Now understand, he just said sometimes it can be years, sometimes it can be lifelong. Here's the cash cow. Hire a trainer because you can't possibly do it on your own. This is what we hear all the time. In reality, ladies and gentlemen, you are the only one that can help your dog. And there's a list of things that you can only do. You don't need a trainer to do all this stuff. It's about basic needs. It's about meeting the goals. It's about building that relationship. It's not about bloody training and food.
The most efficient way to get through issues like this is to give your dog positive experiences, and that's what we're trying to do. If you've ever seen another dog trainer, whether it's on YouTube, TV.
Okay, I can't listen to it anymore. But understand, positive reinforcement is the removal of negative reinforcement. Punishment is the removal of positive reinforcement. B.F. Skinner, the father of all of this operant conditioning, did not believe in punishment. He did not use punishment. So when you have to throw 2 quadrants in the garbage out of a 4-quadrant system, the entire system is already falling apart. Positive reinforcement is the removal of negative reinforcement, not have a treat, not adding things. Negative reinforcement is not always negative. Positive reinforcement isn't always positive. This needs to end. Now, where is the follow-up video? What happened to this dog? How's the dog living now? This is what I want to know. But you never seem to see follow-up videos. That I find interesting. Have a good night. If you got questions or concerns, feel free to contact me. Leave a comment.